The Flying Linguini brothers are working on a new act for the circus. Mario swings from a trapeze and catches Alfredo, who is somersaulted off a trampoline in midair. Mario's height at time t seconds is given approximately by 12t squared minus 24t plus 34 feet, and Alfredo's height at time t is negative 16t squared plus 32t plus 6. Part A. Write a polynomial for the difference in height between Mario and Alfredo at time t. B. Find the difference in height between them at the start, when t equals 0, and after half a second. And C. When will Mario and Alfredo be at the same height? All right, so I wrote this down to, right here. So Mario's height, 12t squared minus 24t plus 34. So if you'd like, you can answer part B right now pretty quickly. At time 0, which would be the moment that they start this act, at time 0, you would just have 12 times 0 squared minus 24 times 0 plus 34, which is 0 minus 0 plus 34 equals 34. Okay, so at the very beginning of the act, Mario is 34 feet above the ground. Alfredo, when time equals 0, you have negative 16 times 0 squared plus 32 times 0, which is all just 0, plus 6 equals 6. So if you want to draw a little picture of this, we have the trapeze, we have the ground right here, we have Mario, I'll just put a little dot for Mario, we have Alfredo down there, and so in the beginning, Mario is 34 feet above the ground, Alfredo is 6 feet above the ground, so presumably, let's see, Mario, we have a positive number in the beginning, so presumably Mario is going up, Alfredo might be, well, it's hard to say, but he's probably going up at a different rate, maybe a little bit slower. So what is the height at any given moment of t? So so anyway, 34 minus 6 is, what is that? That's 28. Okay, so that's part B. The time 0, 28 feet. So we didn't need any algebra for that one, but let's go ahead and solve this algebraically here. So let's go back to part A. So it says, write a polynomial for the difference in height between Mario and Alfredo at any time t. So it's just Mario's height, so it's the expression for Mario's height minus the expression for Alfredo's height. It has to be the difference in the height. And so let's just write that down. So 12t squared, put this in parentheses, minus 24t plus 34, that's Mario's height, minus Alfredo's height, which is negative 16t squared, plus 32t plus 6. There we go. Now, the second polynomial has to go in parentheses because I'm subtracting the entire polynomial. Okay, now, technically that's the answer, but we want to simplify it. So let's take that negative and distribute it through. Remember, if you have a negative in front of parentheses, it means a negative 1 times each of those things. So negative 1 times, so negative 1 times negative 16 is positive 16 t squared. Negative 1 times positive 32 is negative 32t. And then negative 1 times positive 6 is negative 6. And then this first polynomial is the same. I'll just copy it down. 12t squared minus 24t plus 34. Okay, now put a plus sign in between because I distributed the minus through. Now I'll just combine like terms. So I've got 12t squared plus 16t squared is 28t squared. All right, and then negative 24t minus 32t, that's what? That's negative 56t. And then 34 minus 6 is 28. Okay, so there's the answer to part A. That's an expression that gives you the difference in height between the two people at any given time t. And notice when time equals 0, we already know the answer is 28 feet. If you plug 0 into this polynomial, 28 times 0 squared is 0. 56 times 0 is 0, plus 28, so it's 28. Okay, now let's move on to part B. So find the difference in height. So we already answered this when time equals 0. After half a second, so you can plug your half a second into the original polynomial, but it'll be quicker to plug your number into the simplified expression. right here. So that would just become 28 times 1/2 t squared, excuse me, 1/2. The t gets replaced by 1/2. If you want 0.5, that's totally fine. Minus 56 times 1/2, and then plus 28. Okay, so 1/2 squared is half. Let's do this on the side here. 1/2 squared is 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/4. And then 1/4 times 28 is 7. So the numbers work out nicely. That's why I didn't want to convert to a decimal. Okay, and just in case you forgot the procedure, 28 is a whole number, so make it 28 over 1, times by 1/4, and 4 divides into 28 7 times, so the answer is 7. Okay, 56, if you want, you can put it over 1. Okay, 56 times 1/2 is just the same as 2 divided into 56, which is 28 minus 28, and then plus 28. Oh, that's interesting. The 28s cancel, and so the answer is 7. And that's feet. Okay, after half a second, they're 7 feet apart. So that means they're getting closer to each other. So they were 28 feet apart at time 0. Half a second later, they're 7 feet apart. Okay, part C. When will Mario and Alfredo be the same height? All right, let me erase this down here. So my guess would be pretty soon, because you can see that who was in the beginning here. Mario is up here in the beginning. Alfredo's down here, but after just it's hard to know exactly what the pathway is, but after just half a second, they're only 7 feet apart. So I would guess maybe the paths are something like this, and I would say maybe after just another maybe a quarter of a second or so, they will be the same height. To answer this question, now I don't know exactly the pathway. Maybe the pathway looks like this, but that we don't really have to know exactly what the pathway is right now. We just want to solve it. So let's just erase all that. So when they're the same height, that means the difference between the height, the difference between Mario and Alfredo would equal 0. So that means you just take this formula here, 28t squared minus 56t plus 28, set it equal to 0. 28t squared minus 56t plus 28 equals to 0. And solve. So to solve this one, get rid of that. Well, first let's divide everything by 28, because it's an equation. Do anything you want as long as you do it to both sides. So divide everything by 28. I've got 28t squared divided by 28 is t squared. 56 divided by 28 is 2, so minus 2t. 28 divided by 28 is 1, and 0 divided by 28 is still 0. And factor. So this one, just ask what multiplies to positive 1 and adds to negative 2. Well, that would be negative 1 times negative 1. So the factor is the t minus 1 equals 0. And just to double check, minus 1 times t, and then plus another minus 1 times t gives me minus 2 times t. So I know that's the right answer. So either t minus 1 equals 0 or t minus 1 equals 0. So this is an unusual case. I have the same factor twice, so I really have just one solution to this one, which is time equals 0. Okay, no, hold on. Sorry, time equals 1. The distance equals 0. All right, so at time equals 1, that means that the difference between the heights is 0. That means that they are the same height. And so that's probably when the one performer will grab the other performer. Like if you've ever seen that kind of a trapeze show, that's usually what they do. And that's it for the solution. So let's plug them in, make sure it all works. Okay, so let's type in 28t squared plus what was it? No, actually minus, wasn't it? Minus 56t plus 28. Okay, and preview says syntax okay. At time 0, they were 28 feet apart. Half a second later, they were 7 feet apart. And then they will be at the same height 1 second later. All right, let's click submit. Let's make sure, just make sure everything works. Yep, everything turned green. It all is correct. And that's it.